Section 1. You will hear a conversation between a receptionist at a community arts center and a woman named Emily who wants to register for a class. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 5. Now listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 5.
Good morning, Chelsea Community Arts Center. How can I help you?
Hello, I'm calling to get some information about classes. I saw your advertisement in the local newspaper.
Of course. What type of class are you interested in?
Well, I've always wanted to learn painting. I did try chemistry and history classes at university, but I think it's time to explore my creative side.
Painting is one of our most popular classes. We offer different levels. Are you a complete beginner or have you done painting before?
I'm definitely a beginner. I've never really painted before, except perhaps at primary school. So I'd need the beginner's level.
Great. Our beginner's painting class starts on September 3rd Road. It runs for 12 weeks with a total of 10 sessions, as we take 2 weeks off during the term.
I see. And when is the final class?
Let me check. The final class would be on November 5th.
Perfect. Could you tell me about the cost?
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 6 to 10. Now listen carefully and answer questions 6 to 10.
The total fee is £120, which is payable online through our website.
That sounds reasonable. How large are the groups?
Our painting classes are kept small to ensure everyone gets attention from the tutor. Groups consist of 6 to 8 people per session. If you'd like to register now, I'll need some details from you.
Yes, I'd like to sign up, please.
Great. Could I have your full name, please?
It's Emily Wilson.
And your address?
I live in Flat 12, Willow Building, Chelsea Avenue.
Finally, could I have your date of birth?
It's May 15, 1990.
Thank you, Emily. I've registered you for the beginner's painting class starting September 3rd Road. You'll receive a confirmation email with payment instructions shortly.
Great, thank you very much for your help.
You're welcome. We look forward to seeing you in September. Goodbye.
You will hear a talk given by a university professor about conducting research. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 17. Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 17.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for attending this research methodology seminar. Today, I'll be discussing how to plan and conduct effective qualitative research studies, with particular focus on interview-based research approaches. When starting any research project, it's essential that SARA's research should open with a clear purpose statement. This establishes the objectives and significance of your study right from the beginning. Without this foundation, your research may lack direction. For those of you planning to work with human subjects, she must design a detailed questionnaire for the volunteers. This document should be carefully structured to elicit the specific information you need while remaining accessible to participants. In analyzing the data, SARA intends to consider both survey results and personal observations. This dual approach provides both quantitative and qualitative insights, giving your research more depth and credibility. Now, let's discuss what elements SARA should include in her research proposal. A well-structured proposal significantly increases your chances of approval and funding. First, regarding the proposed timeline, this is absolutely an essential part of the proposal. Review committees need to know how long your research will take and when to expect deliverables. Concerning the number of interviewees, this is a useful thing to include, but not essential in the initial proposal. You may need flexibility as the research progresses and participant availability becomes clearer. As for software for analysis, this is definitely an essential part of the proposal. The analytical tools you plan to use directly impact the validity of your findings and should be specified up front. Regarding the layout of the final report, this is something which shouldn't be included in the proposal. It's too early in the process to determine exact formatting, and it distracts from more important methodological considerations.
Before you hear rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 18 to 20. Now listen carefully and answer questions 18 to 20.
Now, I'd like to discuss some practical aspects of conducting interview-based research that Sarah is currently planning. Sarah decides to record only key interviews rather than all interactions. This selective approach allows her to focus on the most valuable conversations while managing data more efficiently. For supervision purposes, she will give feedback to her supervisor at the end of each week. This regular reporting schedule ensures ongoing guidance without overburdening either party. When working with research participants, ethical considerations are paramount. Sarah assures participants that their answers remain anonymous throughout the research process and in all published materials. This encourages honest responses and protects participant privacy. Are there any questions before we move on to discussing data analysis techniques?
Section 3. You will hear part of a lecture about African lions delivered by a wildlife biologist, Dr. Thompson. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 26. Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 26.
Today's presentation topic focuses on endangered species, specifically African lions, whose population has declined by over 40% in the last 3 decades. Before I discuss the challenges they face, I'd like to highlight some positive aspects of our conservation efforts. Lots of research is now available online, which has greatly improved our understanding of lion behavior and habitat requirements. Unfortunately, there are significant obstacles in conservation work. One major negative is that it's hard to monitor everything clearly across vast territories, particularly in regions with ongoing conflicts. Now, I'd like to offer some suggestions to students preparing presentations on this topic. Based on my experience mentoring research projects, I recommend 3 key approaches. First, organize your slides into main ideas with clear section headings and visual cues. This creates a logical flow that your audience can follow easily. Second, reduce the complexity of the content by focusing on key concepts rather than overwhelming your audience with technical details. Remember, your goal is to communicate effectively, not to demonstrate how much you know. Third, rehearse your talk beforehand with a test audience who can provide feedback on clarity and engagement. This practice will significantly improve your delivery.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 27 to 30. Now listen carefully and answer questions 27 to 30.
Let me now turn to some fascinating anatomical features of lions as shown in our diagram. Lions possess a large impressive mane around the neck, which serves multiple purposes including protection during fights and attraction of potential mates. Their powerful paws for catching prey are equipped with retractable claws and significant muscle mass that allows them to bring down animals much larger than themselves. A distinctive dark tuft at the tail end acts as a signaling device, particularly for cubs who follow their mothers through tall grass. Perhaps most remarkably, lions can roar up to 8 kilometers away, allowing them to communicate across vast territories and establish the dominance without direct confrontation. Understanding these physical adaptations helps us appreciate how lions have evolved to survive in their environment and why habitat fragmentation presents such a significant threat to their continued existence. In our next session, we'll examine specific conservation programs currently underway across Africa and evaluate their effectiveness in preserving lion populations for future generations.
Section 4. You will hear a lecture on cybersecurity threats to businesses. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
Today's lecture focuses on the various cybersecurity threats facing modern businesses. Understanding these threats is critical for implementing effective protection strategies. Let's begin by examining internal threats from employees. Many businesses fail to recognize that their own staff can present significant security risks. Employees can intercept emails and steal trade secrets. This often occurs when employees access confidential communications without authorization. Another common scenario involves employees who steal information and technology for personal gain. These individuals might sell proprietary software or customer databases to competitors or use them to start rival businesses. Some employees seek advancement, such as being passed over for promotion, which motivates them to compromise security as retaliation against their employers. Resentment can be a powerful motivator for security breaches. Moving to external threats, let's consider outsider users. Trusted connections make crimes easier for clients and suppliers. When businesses grant access to their systems to partners, they create potential vulnerabilities that can be exploited. Turning now to the category of hackers and crackers, these represent increasingly sophisticated threats. Hackers and crackers access computers without permission, often by exploiting software vulnerabilities or using social engineering techniques. Malicious users misuse tech for evil purposes. This includes activities such as spreading malware, launching denial-of-service attacks, or encrypting data for ransom. Any unauthorized access is a violation of computer security protocols and potentially of legal statutes as well. Such breaches can have severe consequences for businesses. Security experts agree that offenders should be pursued vigorously. Prosecuting cybercriminals serves both as punishment and deterrent for future attacks. Lastly, let's discuss professional criminals, who represent perhaps the most dangerous category of threat. Software can be used to track gambling debts, allowing criminal organizations to monitor and target vulnerable individuals. Similarly, websites are used as links to customers by drug dealers, creating difficult-to-trace networks for illegal transactions. These sophisticated criminal enterprises increasingly operate in digital spaces, blending cybercrime with traditional criminal activities. Organizations must implement comprehensive security policies addressing all these threat vectors. This requires not only technological solutions but also employee training, regular security audits, and clear incident response procedures. In next week's lecture, we'll examine specific defensive strategies businesses can employ to mitigate these various cybersecurity threats.
That is the end of the test.